Hey, fellow explorers of the forgotten, imagine stumbling through a silent, overgrown city where the only sounds are the howls of wolves that shouldn't survive, and dogs with fur as blue as a poisoned sky. What if the deadliest accident in history didn't just scar the earth, but forged a secret superpower in its wild survivors? Today, we're diving deep into the shocking mutations of Chernobyl's blue dogs and nuclear survivors, uncovering tales of heartbreak, resilience, and evolution that will leave you questioning what nature can endure. Buckle up for a story that's equal parts tragedy and triumph. And if untold histories like this light a fire in you, hit subscribe and ring the bell. We've got more mysteries waiting. The night of April 26, 1986, started like any other in Pripyat, a gleaming Soviet dream town built for the heroes of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Families tucked into bed, unaware that reactor number 4 was about to betray them in the most catastrophic way imaginable. A routine safety test spiraled into chaos. Steam explosions ripped through the core, hurling chunks of glowing graphite into the sky like fiery confetti, igniting a blaze that spewed radioactive poison across Europe. Firefighters rushed in, their boots melting on the roof as they battled flames hotter than hell, while the invisible killer, cesium-137, iodine-131, strontium-90 hitched a ride on the wind, seeding death in soil, water, and lungs. By dawn, the plant was a smoldering ruin, and the world had changed forever. But amid the horror, something else unfolded. The frantic abandonment of the innocent souls who couldn't understand why their humans were fleeing. Picture this: sirens wailing through Pripyat's streets at 2 a.m., buses rumbling up in the dead of night, families grabbing toothbrushes and passports, told they'd return in 3 days. It's just a drill. The officials lied, herding 49,000 souls into the dark. But the pets, they were left behind, locked in apartments, tied to fences, or simply forgotten in the panic. Eyewitnesses from Svetlana Alexievich's haunting Chernobyl prayer recall the agony. Dogs leaping at bus windows, their paws scraping glass, yelping as soldiers kicked them away. One woman pinned a desperate note to her door. "Don't kill our Zholka. She's a good dog." Heart-wrenching howls echoed as the convoy vanished, leaving behind a ghost town of whimpers. Soviet squads rolled in days later, rifles barking to contain contamination, gunning down hundreds of strays in cold mercy. Yet, not all fell. Some hid in basements, scavenged in shadows, their eyes glowing feral in the irradiated gloom. These were the seeds of survival, the first generation of Chernobyl's forsaken pack. As the sun rose on that poisoned paradise, the Soviet hammer came down hard. On April 27th, helicopters dumped boron and lead over the reactor-like futile sandbags against a tsunami, while 600,000 liquidators, soldiers, miners, housewives, were conscripted into the inferno. They shoveled graphite by hand, their skin blistering under dosimeters that lied about the danger. Pripyat's playgrounds stood frozen in time, Ferris wheels creaking in the wind, as the exclusion zone ballooned from 10 to 30 kilometers, swallowing villages whole. Over 350,000 people would eventually be uprooted, their homes bulldozed into mass graves of memory. But in this human void, nature didn't mourn, it reclaimed the red forest. 4 square kilometers of pines turned blood red and skeletal by 10,000 Röntgens of gamma rays, became a tomb for trees that absorbed the fallout like sponges. Birds plummeted from skies, their wings too weak to carry the weight of invisible fire. Fish floated belly up in the Pripyat River, scales shimmering with strontium. Yet whispers of life persisted. Wolves, once hunted to near extinction, slunk back from the shadows, their packs swelling sevenfold in the absence of shotguns. Bison thundered through birch groves, lynx prowled the ruins, and Przewalski's horses, wild relics reintroduced in '98, galloped free, their hooves stirring dust that danced like ghosts. Why? No poachers, no plows, no pesticides. The zone, this scarred cradle, birthed an unintended Eden where radiation's blade cut both ways, killer and catalyst. But let's zero in on the dogs, the true heart of our tale. Descendants of those abandoned pets, now numbering around 900. They roam the zone's fringes, from the plant's shadow to Chernobyl City's cracked sidewalks. Thin as whispers, with ribs like piano keys, they huddle in the new safe confinement's lee. That massive arch-ceiling reactor for since 2016, like a steel sarcophagus. Guards at checkpoints, lonely sentinels in this no-man's land toss scraps, pull ticks, even brew rabies shots from smuggled vials. In return, companionship in the endless quiet, a wagging tail against the wolves' nightly chorus. Organizations like Clean Futures Fund dart in yearly, spaying litters under tarps, their vans rattling with whimpers of the sedated. These aren't just strays, they're time capsules, 30 generations forged in fallout, their DNA, a ledger of loss and grit. Imagine a pup named Tarzan, brindle-furred and yellow-eyed, wrestling sticks in the snow near Dugatu's radar ruins. His ancestors dodged bullets, scavenged corpses, nursed wounds that wept green. Have you ever wondered if loyalty like that could mutate into something unbreakable? As we'll see, it did, and then some. Fast forward to the 90s, when scientists first tiptoed back, Geiger counters clicking like angry cicadas. Early surveys painted a grim canvas, barn swallows with twisted beaks and cataracts, their nests feathered with fallout, voles birthing litters of runts, mutations spiking 20-fold in Anders Muller's studies. In Naradichi Rayan, 350 grotesque births appeared between 86 and 90 piglets with extra limbs, calves with eyes like boiled eggs against just 3 before the blast. Plants rebelled, too. Arabidopsis, weeds hypermethylating their genes, shielding DNA like chainmail. But then the story flips. Enter the wolves. In 2014, Princeton researcher Kara Love slipped GPS collars on packs roaming the hottest zones. They were soaking up 11 millirems a day, 6 times the human safety limit, yet thriving. By 2020, her team sequenced their blood and found 8 key genes mutating at lightning speed. Genes that control DNA repair and cancer suppression. These wolves weren't just surviving cancer. Their immune systems were rewriting themselves in real time, almost like living chemotherapy. One wolf, nicknamed Luna, wandered 300 kilometers through red-hot zones and came back wagging. Suddenly, Chernobyl wasn't only a graveyard. It was a laboratory where evolution hit fast forward. Then came October 2025. Clean Futures Fund posted 3 photos that broke the internet. 3 dogs, almost neon blue, trotting past the sarcophagus-like avatars from another planet. Comments exploded. Radiation, mutation, alien dogs. The team quickly clarified, no, not radiation. Skin swabs and fur analysis pointed to industrial chemicals. Likely copper-based disinfectants or antifreeze dumped decades ago that bind to keratin and turn fur turquoise when the pH is just right. By November, the blue trio had been caught, bathed, and the color faded to normal brindle within weeks. Case closed. Almost, because even though the color was man-made, the fact that these dogs were healthy enough to roll in toxic puddles and walk away, glowing instead of dying, says everything about 38 years of adaptation. The blue wasn't the mutation. The fact they shrugged it off was, here's the part that keeps scientists up at night. Those cancer-resistant wolf genes are structurally similar to mutations we deliberately give human cancer patients during immunotherapy. Dogs with altered DNA repair pathways show similarities to those who survived extreme radiation, like the Hiroshima survivors who lived into their 90s. Researchers at NIH and Georgetown are already trying to patent Chernobyl-derived sequences. In a cruel irony, the worst place on Earth might give us the best tools against cancer. Meanwhile, tourists pay $150 to walk the zone, snapping selfies with friendly pups who pose like they've been waiting 38 years for someone to come back. Guards call them our children. Every vaccinated, sterilized, adopted dog that flies to America or Canada is living proof that betrayal can end in redemption. So here we are, almost 40 years later. The reactor is sealed, the red forest is green again, and packs of blue faded dogs sleep under the shadow of a steel arch that cost $2 billion. The wolves howl secrets we're only beginning to read, and every pup with a slightly weird haplotype is a walking love letter from people who never came home. Chernobyl tried to teach us that some mistakes are forever. The animals answered, forever is just a challenge. Tell me in the comments, would you adopt a Chernobyl pup, knowing its grandparents howled at empty buses? Or does the glow still scare you? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button if this story moved you. Subscribe and ring the bell so we can keep exploring the past together. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind to strays, and remember, sometimes the most radioactive thing in the room is hope. Thanks for walking the zone with me, friends. See you in the next ruin.